Gotcha. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to, we're gonna be getting back into the One Piece episodes 833 and 834. Hopefully gonna get to see this wedding implode on itself, see some feathers being ruffled for Big Mama. I'm really curious about what her reaction is gonna be like. I feel like she's gonna like have a tantrum or some shit like a kid. But yeah, I hope you all are doing well. I'm preparing to go to the beach for a week. Going back to the beach, same beach as I went to last year. If any of y'all were following me at that time. But yeah, I'm gonna go with my family, and like all of our significant others are going. So we're already planning some cheesy stuff, like, you know, taking a family picture together with all the significant others. We were gonna like, you know, do that whole cheesy, you know, matching outfits kind of thing, but we're like, it's too late. We'll just all dress up somewhat nice. But it'll give me some practice to do some photography with this camera, which I don't do enough of. So but yeah, I'm excited for it. It'll be nice to have a whole week off, especially at the beach. It's gonna be sick. Let's go ahead and recap the character ratings from last time. We gave MVP and best moment to Sanji. You know, the MVP portion was mostly around Sanji calling Pudding's third eye beautiful, and kind of just how important that was for Pudding, you know, Pudding's character when she has never heard that before, and how much it impacted her. Best moment was around when he dodged the jelly bean from Katakuri. That was so sick. I just loved like the whole like observation hockey, or the really advanced observation hockey, and like Katakuri trying to like kind of beat it to the punch, but then Sanji's too good anyways. But the funniest moment, we gave that to Luffy messing around with Beji's power. It just reminded me so much of like when like Luffy made an alliance with Law for the first time, and Law had no idea what he was getting into. Now Beji's kind of in the same spot. And then for the Sacco, we gave that to Big Mama, and mostly around you know, the flashbacks for Pudding. You know, Big Mama perpetrating that her Pudding's third eye was ugly, creepy. You know, it kind of enabled others to bully Pudding for that too, and probably resulted in like her evilness to a degree at this point in the show. So very curious on where her character is going to go. I don't know, I feel like she might be too far gone to have like an actual redemption arc, but who knows, maybe she'll find her way when people are starting to actually see her for her good qualities versus just calling out her calling out her qualities as bad, you know. But yeah, I think with that being said, we can go ahead and get into these episodes. If y'all enjoy these, start dropping a like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Check out the Patreon if you want early access. Yeah, thanks for being here, y'all. Let's go ahead and watch some One Piece. Damn, that cake's destroyed too. So that's how they came out of it. Dude, Beji and Luffy together are pretty funny. Now it's your turn. Not just people, feral beasts. Oh my god. He's got a freaking snail camera, dude. Dude. Who's that? She's gonna lose her shades.
プリンちゃんしっかり写真立てはあそこか頼むぞルフィ
Oh man. She's about to lose her shit. She's gonna go crazy. Her hat even looks concerned, dude. Yeah, here comes the tantrum. I want to say that's impossible. I'd be like, yeah, sure. Damn. Dude, they some of the most wild frames of Big Mama. She definitely won't be able to do that to Luffy. Luffy doesn't fear like anything, bro. They're still going, Jesus Christ. She's gonna kill you. Brule, you're gonna die. Loser. No, you won't. Too pathetic to do that. Like a bunch of shadow clones. Dude, that part was so freaking hype. Oh man. I would still go eat it. Damn, she looks shook. She is shooketh. I like how her teeth are like round, like they're like balls. Yeah, I mean, Big Mom doesn't seem to be the most strategic person. She just surrounds herself with a lot of loyal subordinates. Of course he fucking just... Oh my god, dude. Oh, Luffy, god damn it, dude. He's eating the cake. Oh my god, guys. Fucking Luffy, man. Where's like Katakuri and all them? You'd think they'd be doing something at this point. Dude, all the clone Luffys are so crazy. I don't know why they're making me laugh so much. Mama. I love it. That's probably gonna be stuck in my head the rest of my life. Mama. Oh, man. It's not gonna be that easy. Ooh. It's Katakuri or... Probably why you shouldn't have announced yourself. Mm-hmm, he saw it. This ain't looking good. Dude, yeah, his like legs almost like Luffy's. What the heck? Damn, Jimbei. Nice.
特殊なパラミシや。
Parametheus
もちも
type?
ちの実の
Mochi Mochi, no way. Dude, this like
日付がありゃ逃れられるが触れぬことじゃ。
get away with liquid.
マザー・カルメルの話をルフィにしたのはわし
Dude,
じゃ。
Jimbei coming in clutch, covering up
傘下
Beji.
におったら噂くらい聞くのでな。
おめえ脱退は諦めたよな。これは完全に謀反と取っていいんだな、ジンベエ。
Well, you wouldn't let him leave,
そう
so
受け取ってもら
what do you expect?
う。わしはここをやめて麦わらの一味に入りたい。
Yeah. Yeah, I guess Luffy hasn't heard this yet.
まあいい。やめた後は好きにしやがれ。だが、ここを抜けることへの落とし前はつけてもらうよ。
他の誰にも手を出さんと約束するなら、あんたが取れるだけのわしの寿命を差し出す。
Really? Dude, what the heck? Jimbei, don't do that.
寿命は大好物さ。
Yeah, you sure do, you sadistic bitch.
また来るぞソウルポーカス。
Soul
Yes.
focus.
それで手を打とう。ステイ
Jeez.
オアライフ。
Dude.
ライフじゃ。
ママ、
もう止まらねえぞ。
死にな。
He's not scared to die, right? Is that why she can't take it?
ステイオアライフ。
嘘だろ。
That fucking pumpkin.
自分のままにビビってねえんだ。
当然じゃ。未来の海賊王のクルーになろうちゅう男が
Damn, goosebumps, bro.
籠時に臆しておられる
A
か。
mere emperor of the sea. Haha, bitch.
寿命を取らんのなら杯は返上する。
Hmm.
これにてビッグマム
Let's go, dude.
どうもお世話になりやした。
What an honorable guy.
まさか作戦中にかっこいい。
Yeah, pretty cool indeed. Aw. Who's this? Who's this guy? This fucking Pinocchio looking dude.
おめでとう、ジンベエ。だったら今から敵だよな。死ね
Jeez. Shine. Okay, yeah, this fucking Pinocchio ass dude's gonna do it. Ooh. Who is this?
よほほほほほ。
It's Brooke? What the heck? How?
大丈夫かルフィ。
Oh, denied.
死ね
Jeez. What's gonna happen with this?
誰だあいつ。
Yo! He's right back up.
マザーカルメルの写真を。大変だ。こりゃ一
Oh no, this is a big deal. Gets lots of good pictures. Very opportunistic. Very journalism-esque.
どうなってんだ。偽物の麦わらはみん
He didn't even look like a freak. Like, he doesn't look like Luffy at all, bro.
よし、ビッグマムが割れた写真を確認
Now's
し
the
た。
time.
あとは叫んで規制を上げりゃ。
It's gonna be your favorite, mama. Your favorite skeleton. Soul King.
顔抜けははけやがった。 こんな顔気持ち悪い
Wow, that's not nice.
ソウルキングお前死んだはずじゃ。
ずいぶん昔に
お前その写真が
一体誰だか
Mother, mother.
分かってるのか。それにウェディングケーキ。
Probably like the worst day of Mama's life in a long time. I don't want to say it's the worst day of her life, but
大丈夫かプリンちゃん安全な場所まで移動しよう
bro, what the fuck, Pudding?
よすんだプリンちゃん
うるさい。
Can't hit Sanji with his hockey, boy.
これが私の本性だ。ショックだろ。幻滅したろ。
Dude, he's so smooth dodging them all. And that thing's loaded to the brim. Never mind.
私は何人も騙してきたんだ。
自分のこともか
Hmm.
これまでも自分のことを騙してきたのかプリンちゃん
Think Sanji can relate to that. Damn, I just got mad goosebumps, y'all.
どいてろプリン
Man, fuck you. Don't interfere. She needs this shit.
大丈夫かプリンちゃんしくじりやがって役立た
Dude, fuck you.
お前が花婿を殺さなきゃ何も始ま
Puff
ら
puff
ない
fruit eater. It is a little bit like Smoker to a degree.
行け魔人
私が必ずやり遂げるから。
So weird.
一瞬でやれなかったお前にはもう無理だ
Come here, buddy. Oh my god! Fuck you! You sick shit.
コリエストライク
So weird. It's like a fucking genie. Ushi. This is the thing with cats, bro. Like, look, this has got to be in your business. No. Even though I annoy you, you still just want to come hang out, bro.
マジキリン
Ooh. Damn, his nice suit's gonna get all messed up, man. He's just like rubs his tummy for it. I love the way they do her eyes.
俺の大事な。
Kiki, mother.
しぶてえやつらだな。うわ。何すんだベジ。
黙れ俺は警備のボスだじっとしてたら怪しまれる聞けまずい状況だ
ビッグマムはなぜ叫ばんこの数は
They're not gonna be able to hold out for long.
オーブン
Oven.
おいペドロそいつの攻撃は受けるな
Oh shit.
なんだ
Ow.
お前を覚えてるぞペドロペコムズの兄貴分だったな短い寿命でまた舞い戻ったということは覚悟の上なんだろう
Bro.
覚悟などとっくにできている
Damn, Pedro. Badass, dude.
もう3秒なんてとっくに過ぎてるぞ。
I sure hope so. We've been watching for 40 minutes now. Oh, anime time.
大丈夫生きてます死んで
そんなことできたっけお前
我々をこんな目に遭わせよって
大変だベンジどけ
これは何の間違いだビッグマム
Yeah, they're gonna just have to move forward with it.
あんたを信頼してた悪の世界にも仁義はあるはず
今さら見苦しいぜ父上もう絶対助からねえ
武器は入り口で取られたレイドスーツもね
まんまとはめられたようだな高望みだ
It's interesting how they aren't emotional reacting to it because they don't have a lot of those emotions.
あいにく息子たちから女王だったのはあなたよお父様自分の死にさえ無感情
参ったよこんな不格好な暗殺はないペロリ
Ugh, ugly AF.
私は全人生
I mean, he deserves this, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I love how this is just twisted on him.
ビッグマム何が答えろビッグマム
なんだその面は
No, he's breaking down an emotion.
おおこれはビッグニュース
This fucking bird, dude.
あいつ泣いちゃってるぞそうだと言ってくれ
I almost feel bad for him, but he's got to face the repercussions of his actions, man. Like,
お前の熱い野心はよくわかったよジャッジだが君はこれから食う牛の声に耳を傾けるかね
damn, that's pretty harsh.
ビッグマムは今怒る材料がありすぎて何に怒ればいいのか混乱してるんですあの割れた写真をもう一度見せましょう
どうした
さっきのやつがこっちに来る
You could feel it.
よし続けろ今の作戦は成功する片栗が青ざめてやがる大ごとになった未来を見たんだよ
Interesting. Looks like Beji's gonna go all in. Damn, Beji, okay? Okay, boy.
連合軍全員インビジブルシンフォニアを用意しろ
ベッチ麦わらを今すぐ射殺しろ
断る
Interesting.
やったよしこれをもう一度ビッグマムに見せれば計画通りになるんだな
Dude, it's interesting seeing all this emotion from him. You kind of forget that, like, he's so, that he has that emotion. Damn, Sanji, that was sick. But yeah, you forget that he has that emotion, you know? Like, he's been so evil and cutthroat and so focused on one perspective that you almost thought he was just the devil kind of thing, right? But you can kind of see some of his humanity. Ah, good episodes, man. I'm loving the kind of like the pacing of it right now, like just the feel of the arc in general. I don't know, I always get like worried in like the I know this is going to get extended out, of course, but like I always get worried in like when the One Piece arcs kind of like break down into chaos, like Dressrosa, for example, just how long it takes to kind of get to the best parts, you know, or like where the plot actually progresses in big ways. But I'm like in like, even though it's got slowed down in some ways, I'm liking how it's flowing still, at least. So, all right, y'all, let's go ahead and talk about these episodes for a little bit here. You know, not a ton of progression in general. I mean, well, you know, things are moving along, but, you know, more so just kind of getting, you know, things set up plot wise a little bit more here, or just getting little tidbits of, you know, information about different people's powers. For example, we get, you know, Big Mama's soul pocus being explained a little bit more. I mean, they kind of explained this to a degree, but, you know, they kind of laid it out a little bit more directly here that, I guess the way it works is, you know, it works on people's obsession with staying alive. That's what they said. If you fear death at all, you know, Big Mama can basically use that to take your life from you. And I think that's pretty interesting, especially, of course, seeing that with Jimbei standing up to her and, you know, her not being able to take his soul from him because he doesn't fear Big Mom. He doesn't fear death, it seems. And it's a little confusing. They kind of say, you know, you have to fear Big Mama to a degree or fear death. I'm not sure if it's like has to be fear of death through Big Mama or just fear of death in general, but I kind of interpret it as like fear of death in general, because Jimbei, I feel like he's showing so much resolve and security in what he wants in life, what he wants to do, which is to join the Straw Hats. And that's conveyed by, you know, him, you know, not being able to see, you know, our Big Mama not being able to take his life away from him. And also him saying, I can't be intimidated by a mere Emperor of the Sea. I feel like that puts it in perspective just how confident he is in what he wants, right? I feel like that's, you know, so important in life in general, is like, if you come from a place of security or pure, like actual confidence, like real authentic confidence, it comes from security. It comes from knowing what you want and believing in that, having faith in it. And then people can't scare you or influence or, you know, change or manipulate you to change your path, right? And you see this kind of, you know, the opposite of this is Sanji's character in this arc, and Pudding in this arc, where they've been lying to themselves. They don't have security in what they really want. They are not in touch with what they really want. And, you know, their growth in this is people challenging them to not lie to themselves, to figure out and focus on what they really want. You know, I think Reiju challenged Sanji on this a while ago, right? He's like, think about what's important to you. And then, of course, Luffy's saying, say what you want, like say it with your chest. It's like they're scared to do it, you know? And I've talked about this too in those past episodes about how I can relate to that, right? Because, you know, I take in so many different perspectives a lot of times. I'm very understanding, but it's very hard for me to be in touch with what I really want and follow that first and foremost. So I really love kind of the contrast between Jimbei and Sanji and Pudding. It's just really interesting having various perspectives on this, and I think Oda's done a really good job of trying to kind of display that for the audience or the reader, or the audience in this case that watching the anime. But it's just really interesting. I'm loving how he's kind of written these characters to kind of show this narrative to a degree. We also get more of Katakuri's powers with him having a special Paramethea type devil fruit. Paramethea, if I remember, that's the same type that Luffy has, right? I think most are under that category, but it's a special one, the Mochi Mochi fruit, which is pretty freaking funny. It's hilarious because it's kind of similar to Luffy, you know. Machi, is it Machi? Mochi, Machi? I think it's Machi. Machi, I probably pronounced that incorrectly. Machi is like stretchy, right? It's like made of rice and like gluten and stuff, if I know, but it's like, you know, it's like squishy and it can stretch a little bit. It's more pliable, is that the word? But like, you know, it can stretch, so it's almost a little bit like gum, but it's like stickier. I guess that's kind of a key differentiator, is that it's sticky too. And I guess liquids is a way to kind of break the stickiness of it. It probably breaks the integrity of like the gluten and rice altogether. So pretty interesting that he is similar to Luffy in some ways. One small thing I noticed too, and this could just be a small translation thing, I don't know if it's actually something I should look into, but Katakuri, after they it's not actually after they destroy Mother Caramel's portrait, it's when he stops Luffy, they're asking Luffy about how he knew that Mother Caramel's portrait was important, but he doesn't say important to Big Mom. He says important to us. So maybe there's something more going on here with Mother Caramel's portrait outside of just Big Mama herself. Maybe it's important to like all the family members. Is some of the powers in general connected to this portrait? I don't know. I thought that was kind of like a small detail that could, maybe throw some interesting flips in the future or misdirection in the future. I think the last thing I wanted to talk about too was Judge's reaction to all this after he starts getting captured in the hard candy. I just thought it was so interesting seeing how all of his sons were so nonchalant about it, right? They don't fear death at all. In a way, Big Mama probably couldn't take their lives, right? Because they don't fear anything. But that's because of a lack of emotion. He's created these these inhumane beings. They lack humanity in a lot of ways. And it's funny because you see Judge's humanity here so much more. Him crying, he looks so much more human than we've seen him in the past, with him expressing sadness and probably, grief and mourning at this point. He's just he's been betrayed, but it's weird just seeing that in him because he's been such an evil figure. But, compared to his sons, who we've seen as evil, there's a level of humanity to him that's still there. Very, very interesting. I'm curious how this is going to play out, because in some ways I feel like this is an opening for Sanji to save them, and maybe for Judge to change, to get past just his hyper focus on his ambition, and instead maybe see more to life with this humanity that he actually does have deep down within him to some degree. And obviously he's crying for selfish reasons. It's not like he's crying for something that's actually healthy in this case. But I don't know. I think it's just a quick little glimpse into how he's more human than his sons are, and maybe that could have an opening for him. All right, let's go ahead and do the character ratings. For MVP, I'm gonna give it to Jimbei. I just love his resolve and the security, and kind of what that represents in his character in this arc, and especially contrasting it to the flip side of it with Sanji and Pudding. I just love that scene in general, how Big Mama couldn't intimidate him. I love the line he says with he couldn't be intimidated by a mere emperor of the sea, which of course this whole show, that is intimidating. That is like the cream of the creme, basically. It's just I feel like it's admirable to see such resolve in somebody, in a character in this case. For the best moment, I'm gonna give that to Sanji. Kind of going off of this, kind of the opposite of Jimbei is a character like Pudding and Sanji, who have been lying to themselves. And Pudding is saying, reverting back into her, manipulation type. She's like, haha, like, you see how this is how I fooled everyone. Like, you see how terrible I am, kind of trying to intimidate Sanji to some degree. And Sanji responds with, and you fooled, and yourself, right? Like implying like you have been fooling yourself too. I just love how he calls her out on that, and I don't think Sanji probably could call her out on that if he hadn't had people call him out on it, right? Had Luffy call him out, and Reiju, like the people who are disconnected from themselves and like what they want and operating from like a hurt place. They need friends or compassion and good people to call them out, to help them realize that, so they can start really following their authentic selves. And I just think that's so cool. I'm so curious on how Pudding and Judge, Judge hasn't been really morally gray. He's been pretty evil, but like I just see the potential in these characters for them to maybe have a change in perspective, or start following a better path. Maybe not flipping, but like maybe start following a more humane path. Like, for example, when Pudding woke up and, Sanji's like carrying her, he's like, pull yourself together. I got to get you somewhere safe. He's being respectful and caring. And the first thing you see in her eyes is like admiration, and safety. She feels safe. And then it turns into, she reverts back to her like evil, manipulating self. It's like a learned behavior almost. Like that doesn't seem as authentic as like her first reaction to seeing Sanji carrying her, For the funniest moment, I'm gonna give that to Luffy when Big Mama's like, you know, show yourself, Straw Hat, and Beshi's like, there's no way he'd show himself, and of course he fucking does, and Beshi's reaction was hilarious. Just classic movie, man. And then for the Sacco, I don't know, I feel like I could give it to a lot of people, but you know, Caesar's been making fun of this whole time. Everyone's saying how pathetic he is and how he's the worst. Well, we'll give Caesar the Sacco. I'll join in. He needs to be called out more and more for just how, I don't know, man, he's pathetic. Pathetic as always. But yeah, y'all, I think that'll do it for these episodes. We're getting into the thick of it now. Into the thick of it. Hope y'all enjoyed this one. If you did, consider dropping a like, commenting, all that good stuff. Would love to hear y'all's thoughts on these episodes. And yeah, I will catch you for the next episodes. Peace.